Okay, so this is Masters of the Deep Tabletop. What we were wanting to do is give you guys a really quick version of it. Actually, it's not a really quick version. We're actually playing some pretty beefed up characters. But we wanted to give you a little bit simplified version. So what we're doing is playing with 3 heroes on both sides to make it an easy 75-point game that we can explain a little bit better without having to worry about too many units and things like that. We do have our templates over here. These are just, of course, temporary until the game is completely produced and manufactured. But the 1 fathom and the within 1 fathom, kind of 2 fathoms blast area template. The big things about this game, right at the very beginning, you need to make sure to have something to represent rocks, which we are using books for. Normally what we would do is build out a awesome table, make it kind of look like this cool underground or underwater area. Maybe a village, maybe a ruin, maybe a sunken forest, whatever we choose. And then we'd actually have rocks built up. But we kind of wanted to bring something that's a little bit more, that a lot of people might actually use just at home for a quick play, whatever. So we're using books to represent rocks. Once you get on the rocks, certain things happen. And we're also using these 4 coral pieces that represent coral. So whenever you get within 1 fathom of each one of these coral pieces, something happens also. At the very beginning of the game, we have to agree on which pieces of scenery are going to be lurker dens. And for any game, we want 2 or 3 lurker dens. So in this game, we've already chosen that we want this and this to both be lurker dens. So at any point in the game, we can go search out those lurker dens and kind of get the lurkers out of there and try to take their treasure or, get some ether from them or whatever. Okay, so in this game, we're playing J-Pots, Reginald, and Joffrey from the Cog. And we're choosing over here the Nautilus, which he is playing.
Brighton, Jules, and Algernon.
Mm-hmm. So each one of these characters is 25 points. Easy to get to the table fighting units. So Algernon is kind of like a leader of the Nautilus. I didn't bring Theodore into this skirmish because I wanted something that was 3 characters that are very different that just can get out there and do some damage. J-Pots is kind of a healer unit, and he's a little bit weaker, but he's also a fun character because he has double attack and things like that. Reginald is my sniper. He can shoot a long distance and also kind of shoot multiple opponents depending on where they're laid out on the board. And then Joffrey's kind of my tank. He can go in there. He can, again, shoot multiple units if he uses his special ability, both barrels. He's also kind of like a very defensive unit. Talk a little bit about
Now,
characters.
me, going along the same lines of 3 very different characters. Algernon, the leader, he is a buffer. He will buff his teammates. He'll buff himself to make his attacks better by upgrading dice. But he also, if they're within the fathom, does it for the teammates around him. Jules is my healer, so he can heal my character's up to 2 hearts.
He's also a good range character if you're trying to get some range out of the Nautilus.
He also has the longest range of all the Nautilus. So he is the Nautilus equivalent of a Reginald, except it actually doesn't reach quite as long. Brighton is my tank. He has to get really close, but luckily he's very fast. So most Nautilus also are a little bit faster than the Cog. That just... because they're so, this is where they grew up. This is what they do is under the water. So they are actually faster than the Cog.
Mm-hmm.
But
so just a little bit about the board. You can kind of pick up any of these scenery sets from your local Walmart, fish tank store, whatever is around, just to kind of make the game just feel a little bit more realistic. I know we didn't bring the huge board out because we wanted to show you guys a little bit more just easy at-home play. But even with the at-home play, you can kind of bring some nice features into the game to make it feel a lot more like you're under the water. Other than that, things you will need, of course, the templates. You'll need the dice, your ether tokens, heart tokens, swim tokens. But you also need a ruler because this is a tabletop version, so there's going to be actual measurements that come into the game. Measurements are in fathoms, and a fathom is 3 inches. So if something says this character can move 1 fathom, then they can move 3 inches. It's pretty simple. Everything comes down to that 1 fathom, range, which is kind of why we use templates in certain areas. You can use these as blast radiuses, but you can also use them
Has attack radius.
Attack radiuses around you because, for instance, if someone can, let's say Reginald can only do, 1 fathom around him, you can kind of see with this template that 1 fathom around him who all it can hit. So you can kind of use it that way. You can also truthfully just measure everything out. So if you can do 3 inches in any direction, then there you go. It makes it a little bit quicker. Sometimes some people prefer the templates. It just depends on how you like to play. Of course, your loot, event, and lurker cards need to be on the table. Your activation cards for each team. And of course, all your character cards that are going to come into play. You start the game with 3 ether. That 3 ether will help you kind of get out the gate is what I'm trying to say, with your abilities. But are you ready to play?
Ready.
All right. You start the game with any of your characters anywhere you want on your side of the table, but within 2 fathoms of the edge of the table. We're playing on a little bit longer of a table than normal. Usually you play on a 3x4 or a 3x3, but we're playing on about 3x4.5 or so. So we're giving ourselves a little bit extra room to move at the very beginning here. What we do at the very, very beginning to figure out who goes first is we roll off. And roll-offs happen a few times in the game. If there's ever a lurker out and there are multiple factions next to that lurker, then you do a roll-off in order to see where that lurker goes, where that lurker attacks. At the very beginning of the game, you have a roll-off to see who goes first. I rolled 2 skulls. Sean rolls 2 skulls. So, let's do it one more time.
There you go.
And Sean is already at 2, and he gets an exploding skull to roll again. Another exploding skull to roll again. Grabs another red. And there we go. You have 4 skulls. So Sean will be going first in the game.
Okay, so now going on to do my movement action. I can move with each movement token as I move it along the columns. So I'll use 1 movement token to move 3 small miniatures or characters, or 1 large. So I use this. I'm going to move. My guys all have different speeds. So Algernon and Brighton can move 3 fathoms, while Jules can only move 2. So actually, what I'm going to do while I'm doing this is I'm going to put Jules. Actually, I'm going to put them all in swim mode. So I get swim tokens, and I'm going to move towards this coral. Now, when I get beside coral, if I'm within a fathom of it, it does degrade my defense dice, but I have the ability to search that object. So I'm going to move. He can now move the 3 fathoms.
Which is 9 inches.
9 inches.
Because he's in swim. Again, the bad thing about swim is that you are degrading your defense while you're doing it, and if you're within coral, you're degrading it again. So if you have like a black die, for instance, you degrade that down to a red, and then if you're next to the coral, you degrade it again down to a white.
And you start with your weakest. Mm-hmm. So you start by degrading your, like I said, your weakest dice. So say if it's a red, I'd actually degrade it to white, and then I'd get rid of it. Mm-hmm. So I'd only have 1 dice to defend with. So I'm now going to use my attack action. With my attack action, I'm going to move. I'm going to search the coral. Now the coral can only be searched once. So once I search this coral, it cannot be searched again. So I have to pick which character I want to search with. Now I want to search. I'm going to search with Algernon. So let's see what I get, which gets rid of his attack. He cannot attack now. So, Tool Belt. Abilities are 1 ether cheaper, a minimum of 1 ether. So, his War Cry is now only worth 2 ether instead of 3. So, I'm going to continue to move. Let's see here. There are still swimming, and I believe, yes, they are all close enough. I have to actually go around that. Okay.
So in order to get on rocks, you have to be swimming.
Yes.
I think what Sean's trying to do is he's probably trying to get on some rocks so that he can have a little bit better of attacking ability once he's on top of these rocks to attack me with. The bad thing about him swimming right now is he's going to be on top of rocks, but he is going to have a degraded, defense because of him being in swim mode.
So I'm going to move with him first. What you have to do also is once you get right beside it like this, you have to roll 1 red dice to see if you are able to get on top. So you have to roll a skull, and I rolled a shield. So Jules kind of cut it short.
It's his action. He cannot move any longer this turn.
Correct. So now I'm going to move Brighton. Move him up to there and perform his attack, and he also doesn't make it.
So this is playing out really well for me right now.
And now I'm going to go with Algernon. Going to use a little bit of time with him, actually.
And you can kind of take it a little bit at a time. So, for instance, he can move 1 fathom to the left, and then move the rest of his fathoms any direction he wants. So he can kind of break that up into fathoms if he needs to.
That way I can move around objects to be able to attack or get up on rocks like I'm attempting to do and failing epically. Alright, so Algernon does succeed. He would, being the leader, succeed to get on top of the rock.
Plus, check out this awesome mini. Whoa. Sorry, I just moved your guy.
How dare you. But now, I'm going to use my last movement action to be able to allow them all to land. Now, I don't really want to move away with Algernon because there is strength in numbers. So I don't feel like stranding him by himself. Actually, I do not want to remove these 2 guys from swim. Just Algernon.
Yep, because those guys still need to get up on these rocks. In order to get up on rocks, they have to swim them up. So it's definitely a wise decision to keep them in swim. They are degraded right now, however, more than likely I'm not going to be able to manage to make my way all the way to these guys before they, get out of swim mode. So if you want to hand me the ruler. So after every person's turn, once they end it, and gets all this stuff in the end turn movement, or end turn column, then we draw an event card. And this event card is Shifting Tides. So what Shifting Tides does is you pretty much spin the card.
Since it was my turn, I do it.
There's an arrow on that card. Wherever it points is where your characters move. Luckily for Sean, he's already trying to get up on rocks.
So it pushes me 1 fathom towards the direction that it's facing. So the arrow is going that way.
Mm-hmm. So you can move all his characters 1 fathom straight forward. What that has just done is made it to where his characters can get up on these rocks very easily without him having to actually worry about it. So it played in his favor. Sometimes it does not play in your favor.
Lots of times it'll push you off the rocks or push you into coral or push you towards a lurker.
Yeah, so it's not necessarily a great thing for the Shifting Tides, but sometimes it really plays to your advantage. Alright, so now that he's taken this whole turn, we played an event card, now it's my turn to go. I'm going to start with J-Pots here. My team is definitely more of a range team, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to gather some stuff around the lurk, but then try to take pop shots at his characters because for me, I want to try to stay away from his guys. So with J-Pots, what I'm going to do is he has a speed of 2 fathoms, so I'm going to move him with one of my movements, and I can remember move 3 small units. All these guys are small units, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. All of my guys have speed of 2 fathoms, so they are all going to go in this direction. Alright. Now, what I can do is I could make them swim if I wanted to, but right now, truthfully, I don't really want to swim. I know that there's a lurker den here. Maybe I want to kill off this lurker and try to gather as much loot as I can from this area. Maybe I want to, come to this coral, search out the coral, and try to find some, hidden artifacts that have been destroyed or left behind in all the centuries of warfare between all these factions. So, I am instead going to just move again with my 3 characters. All of them are going to get closer and closer. And I'm not going to try to move him straight back to there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move him to where he can still kind of see other characters, but is also within 1 of coral, so this does downgrade and degrade his defense, but I'm also within 1 fathom of this lurker den, so if I wanted to, I could open up the lurker den and see what's inside. So all these guys are going to move. I'm just going to get them nice and lined up here. And let's see here. What I'm going to do right now, all my guys are probably not going to be able to shoot too far. Reginald, however, has a range of 5 fathoms, which is 15 inches. So right now, Reginald could totally hit Algernon if I really wanted him to. The rest of my guys only have a range of 3 fathoms, which is 9 inches, so they can't quite make the attack themselves. But what they can do, if I use an attack action, is search. So my first guy, J Potts, is going to use his ability to search the coral. So, the very first thing that happens is I go and draw from the loot, and I get a bottle of poison. So, if I want to, I can poison a rival within 1 fathom. So, that's going to be handy for J Potts. No longer can we search this coral because it's been searched now. But, let's see here. Joffrey is going to search, I believe he is within, oh, he's not within 1 of that. So instead, I'm going to take another movement action. Since Joffrey can't shoot anyway, he's going to move back here. And right behind here, so nothing can fire at him because Algernon and Jules do have a little bit of range. And he's going to then make a search for his attack and search this lurker den. So, a troll shark is going to be coming out. I get to assign where this troll shark goes within 1 fathom of the lurker den. So anywhere it touches, I can go within 1 inch. I'm probably going to try to put it between me and them so that I might have a little bit of defense, just in case he decides to get a little close to me.
And troll sharks are a very strong lurker.
Yes. They're a very tough lurker, very tough to destroy. And what stinks about kind of taking these lurkers out of their dens is it kind of frenzies them up and gets them all stirred up and makes them want to attack. So, once it's the lurker's turn, which is a full turn around the game, so after me, the lurkers will then take a turn.
Yeah, start.
Since Sean started off, I go, and then the lurkers go. So, now that I've freed that lurker, I'm going to... I could attack Algernon, but instead, I think I want to try to take out this lurker in front of me, maybe get some more stuff. So, Reginald is going to try to do a snapshot. So, if I shoot at anything within 2 fathoms of Reginald, because he's a sniper, he actually has a better chance of hitting it. So, he gets to upgrade his weakest attack die. So, I get 2 black instead of a black and a red.
And I roll for the lurker.
And he will roll for the
2
lurker's
blacks.
defense. Okay, I rolled 2 shields. So, terrible. No matter what, he will still roll for the lurker because the lurker has the ability to roll ether. So the ether could come into play.
Which I rolled 1 ether.
You did roll 1 ether. So, what's cool about that is the longer this troll shark's out, the more he's going to be worth killing in the end. Because at the end, you do take his reward, but you also take any ether that goes onto his
Lex
card.
Luthor.
Any Lex Luthor that goes onto his card. So, I just took all my attack for all my characters. So there's nothing else I can do there except for draw the next event card. Calm water, so nothing happens. Which is very fortunate. I don't have to move into the lurker or anything like that.
The best part about the event deck is that it really brings the board the
board to life.
The board to life, the
So
table to life.
It feels like we're actually kind of playing in the water. So the next thing that happens right after my turn is it's now the lurker's turn. The lurker will only attack 1 model within 1 fathom of itself. So right now, the closest model is going to be J Potts, the old man of the cog. So what would happen is now Sean has the ability to roll against J Potts. And I get, of course, my defense roll.
So I rolled an exploding attack.
So you always take a red
skull.
for exploding.
Yep, and so I have 2 skulls.
Okay. So the bad part about taking the lurkers out of their dens is that they will probably attack you. But the good part about taking the lurkers out of their dens is that now you could get a little bit of a payoff for killing these things.
For them, no matter the best part about it is the reward that you get. So not only do they get ether added on to this reward technically, but if he kills this lurker, he would get either 2 loot or 2 ether.
Plus whatever's on the card.
Plus whatever ether's on the card. So if he the longer the troll shark's out there, the more worth it becomes to kill, because
Yep.
he will keep collecting more and more
Yep.
ether, and then you can still get the 2 loot.
Become a little bit of a headhunt in the game. So I did roll 1 ether, so I do get an extra ether, and I got a shield, so I got to block one of those attacks. However, I did not get 2 shields, which is what I needed to block. So J-Poss just took a damage without him even touching me. So it is now Sean's turn.
Now my turn. So while I'm up high, I definitely want to move in closer, especially Brighton. Brighton, he can only attack within 1 fathom. So while he's swimming, I think I'm going to take full advantage of that, and try to figure out my way to get to him that will be very beneficial to me. Now, luckily, I'm already on top of the rocks, so I don't have to swim to get on top of these higher rocks. But luckily, I'm already swimming, so I can move that extra fathom that I want to be able to try to reach the cog, or even the lurker if I wanted his loot.
Yep. So, unlike the board game, in the board game, it's just a rock tile and a rock tile, so you swim across. In this, it is a little bit different because of the size variations, but the idea is as long as the rocks are touching each other, there's not going to be any swimming that has to occur from rock to rock. It's a very easy traverse once you get on top of them.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to go ahead. I want to move, and I want to attack Chase and the cog the best I can. So I'm going to figure out what I want to do with Brighton first. I'm going to go ahead and use my movement token. So he has a speed of 3 fathoms plus 1 for being in swim mode. So I can actually move 12 inches. So I'm going to move all the way across these rocks for my first movement.
So that's the scary thing about the Nautilus, is you can try to stay away from them as best you can, but they will get in fast, and they will definitely hit hard.
Now, Algernon, let's see here. He also has a speed of 3. So I'm going to take him to the edge because his range is only 2 fathoms. So I'm going to see here if I can...
So he's not in swim mode, so he can't go to
Yeah,
12.
sorry.
Yep.
So I'm going to move him right beside him and then see if he's even within reach with his crossbow. I'll just see if I'm close enough to be able to shoot. Now I could shoot the lurker with him, but right now
it doesn't really play to his
that
advantage.
doesn't necessarily help me. See, even if I did destroy the lurker, I'd have to be within 1 fathom to collect all of his treasures. And the only person within 1 fathom right now to collect those treasures is him. So, also, the lurker's going to be helping me by attacking him because he's so close. So, I'm going to then now move with Jules, the Lightbringer. Now, Jules can only move up to 9 inches, 3 fathoms, because he only has a speed of 2. And so, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see here. What do I want to do with him? Jules has a really unique ability, which is awesome. And that is that he can be right beside a lurker and not get attacked by him. So I can really, as long as I have line of sight, I can do whatever I want with Jules right beside this lurker. So I'm going to go ahead and move down with this one. I'm going to go ahead and actually land him, and I'll go ahead and land Brighton as well with that.
So now that they have landed, their defense is no longer degraded.
Correct. And now I will do my next movement action. And now it's normal movement. So I'm gonna first rush in with Brighton, who's gonna rush
Of
over
course, he's going
behind.
to try to come in and just take my head off.
I'm gonna see. Okay, I think I'll do that. I'm gonna move him to the very far edge of the book.
Of the rock.
Yes, of the rock. And yes, I can hit him. And now, Jules, I'm also going to move in to right here.
Because Jules and Algernon both have some range, so he can start taking some definite shots at me right now.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is... Ooh.
This would be a good
I hope
thing
I can
right
see.
now if I had Theodore, because if I had Theodore, he could do his Barker ability and kind of buff all the defense around all my units. But I don't, so that's not a very good thing right now.
Lucky for me, I have Algernon, so I can use Warcry, and everybody within 2 fathoms of of Algernon that's anomalous gets a boost. So to their attack, we actually gain a red die, which is really good. Anytime you can gain a full die, that's a game changer. So let's see who all is within 6 inches. This also does include Algernon himself. So 6 inches is Brighton and Jules. So they are both boosted as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack. I'm going to do all I can to just... I like to try to focus my attack. So I'm going to focus on Reginald. Now, let's see. I'm first going to attack with Algernon. I'm just going to go down kind of the order. I have 2 black attack with Algernon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually boosted by 1 red die.
Ugh. And who did you just attack again?
Okay, so right now I have 3 skulls.
Reginald.
And I had an exploding skull, so I roll an extra. Oh, another exploding. So sometimes the dice can really be on your side.
Yeah.
And they will allow you to
definitely
rail on somebody. So I just rolled 5 skulls, so I can do 5 damage, especially if he doesn't roll anything.
I got 2 shields, so he got 5, so I do take 3 hits.
Takes 3 damage.
To Reginald.
Which that's a huge hit.
That is huge for him. Not good for me at all.
And like I said, you never know when the dice is going to be on your side or when it's definitely going to be against you.
Yep.
So now I'm going to attack with Jules. And I'm going to go ahead and pay also to use Flash. And that will degrade Reginald's weakest defense dice. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. I have that plus the red. And I'm going to go ahead and attack. Now, I did roll an exploding, but I rolled 2 shields. I'm just going to pick up one of those shields I rolled. Okay, so one skull.
Again?
Yes, 1 skull to Reginald.
So Sean's
which
trying to be smart
one was
here.
one defense dice was degraded. So your weakest.
One defense
yes.
dice was degraded. Sweet. I did not hear that part because he's within 1 of the coral there.
So he defended it
with 1 shield.
With 1 shield, and now I'm going to finally attack with Brighton. Which I totally should have saved that 1 ether for him because he has a attack called Hook. Awesome so I could have totally attacked Reginald and J-Pots, but I wasn't thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with Brighton now.
Right now I'm already very wounded for the start of the game.
Yes. And he's at the disadvantage because the...
Coral's right there.
Coral. Oh man, I forgot about the coral.
Mm-hmm. But the good thing is, I believe that your character's also within 1 fathom of the coral, so that might help me out a little bit.
I did roll an exploding skull, another
exploding
skull. So 3.
3. I do get a downgrade because I'm within 1 of the coral. I got 1 shield.
So it takes.
So exploding hits whenever I'm rolling for defense don't actually count, so I don't get to actually roll for exploding for shields. So shields are not exploding ever. So it kind of stinks defense-wise because once they start rolling those exploding hits, you're not going to be defending all of it, which is okay.
But the good thing is it does allow the game to progress.
The only time you can roll another dice is whenever you roll an exploding ether. So if I do roll, it doesn't really help me defense-wise, but it could at least get me some extra ether to pay to do some more stuff in this game. That's all your characters? All your moves?
That's all my moves.
So he's just done all of his moves, and now he draws another event card. And the event card is School of Lurk Feeders. All models' speed reduced to 1 until the next event card is drawn, which stinks for me because it's my turn, and now all my characters can only move 1 if I decided to run. So that was actually a really good event card for Sean. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do, of course, to make it a little bit tougher, I know that some people that are going to be just completely destroying me, I'm going to put this back up on the book a little bit more so it's not going to fall off again. I know that Brighton can definitely take a major damage to me, so what I'm going to do with J-Pots right now is I'm going to use my bottle of poison and poison a rival within 1 fathom. So Brighton is now poisoned. In order to recover from a poison, he actually has to use his attack to recover. So what I just did pretty much is I just saved myself from Brighton attacking me this turn by using that poison. Okay. Items can be kind of used anytime, so it doesn't actually take an action to do an item. I, however, I'm going to move with Joffrey. Could you hand me the ruler there?
Yep.
And Joffrey's going to try to get around here because he is my character that can start attacking multiple units at once. And I believe, okay, they're not within one of each other. So that kind of stinks. But if I wanted to, later, whenever his characters maybe get a little bit closer together, I could try to shoot, multiple characters at once. So I'm going to move him around. Here's 1 fathom. Oops. 1 fathom. And I can move another one, but do I want to?
I would, personally, I think your best bet would be to move Reginald, because you can totally get a straight-on shot at 2 people with him.
That's true. Okay, I like that idea. So luckily, Reginald is not within, is not the closest to the lurker itself, so he does not get a disengage from lurkers. Disengagement, whenever the closest model to a lurker moves away, that model gets pretty much attacked for free by the lurker right then. So luckily, Reginald is not that character, but he is going to try to line himself up a little bit and move here. So he only moves 1. I'm just going to point my little sniper blunderbuss. So what I just did is I made it to where Reginald can use his domino effect. So if 2 rivals are right behind each other in a straight line within my range, I can actually shoot both of those rivals to get this domino effect going. So I'm going to use that in a second here. See if there's anything I want to do with J-Pots really quick. I can heal if I wanted to.
That'd probably be a good choice. But if you want to use
He's not
domino
hurting
effect,
too much. I am going to heal 1 heart from Reginald, though, because I can heal anyone within 1 fathom of any friendly within 1 fathom of J-Pots. So I'm going to do that, get him healed up a little bit, and I'm going to take this domino effect and do some shooting. Okay, I'm going to spend 1 to do the domino effect. I'm going to be shooting both Brighton and Algernon. Pray I get something. Okay, I got 2 skulls.
Brighton and Algernon. Okay. Oh, and I'm poisoned, so I get degraded, correct?
So what poison does is it does degrade your weakest defense dice, but it also makes it to where you can't attack. So I'm kind of doing some double damage for Brighton right now, which is definitely helpful.
Which I rolled just an ether for myself.
But it's an exploding ether, so he can roll another red die. Gives him a chance to actually block something.
Which I did not defend. So I still take 2 damage for Brighton.
Yeah.
And is...
So then he rolls for Algernon,
Yes.
his defense.
Which I go ahead and... that his attack applies to both of them. So...
And he does not
I
block
just not block it. So I take
2
2
hits.
damage for both of them.
So
that...
I thought I was in bad shape, but now that I have my new sniper out, doing some domino effect, I'm definitely able to pick it back up a little bit. What I didn't do, and I should have done with Reginald, is I should have also used Snapshot on Brighton, because he is within 2 spaces, so I could have actually upgraded to one of my die. Would have been super helpful, but not going to do that now.
As long as you can afford it, yeah, you can do it.
Because it was a free one. You can
that's
only
free.
do
That's
one.
true.
You can only pay for 1 ability, but you can use a free ability anytime.
Yep.
Let's see here. So I just did that. I'm going to use Joffrey. I wish I could open up the 2 barrels with him, but I cannot. So instead, I'm just going to do a basic attack. Yeah, that's about what I do. And I got an ether, so that helps. I only got 1 skull, so let's see.
Who did you attack? I'm sorry?
I just attacked Brighton.
Brighton, okay.
So right now he is degraded.
I hate being degraded. So,
He gets 1 ether. So at least that pays off for him. and he did not roll any shields.
That's why I
So
take
he
a
got
hit.
one more hit on Brighton. And last but not least, I'm definitely going to, now that I have... I did already use his ability, though. Oh, man, I can't do that with J-Pot's ability-wise. But I can still take his action. Or his attack action. So, I'm going to shoot with J-Pots, also at Brighton. And I just got an exploding skull. So I got 3 skulls. And he did not defend it
So,
at all.
and that was all. That was 3 more. So
All
Brighton's bit
she
dust.
wrote for Brighton. So, thank goodness, because Brighton is one of the toughest mofos
I was about to
in
wreak
this
havoc.
game, and he can attack multiple units, but also attack them with a thing called the Razor Fin Punch. And Razor Fin Punch, again, adds an extra red to his die. So if he had called out the Warcry, plus used Razor Fin Punch...
I could have wreaked havoc.
Yeah, he could have been rolling 4 dice at me, all pretty strong dice too, so that would have definitely sucked. Okay, so I'm actually at a good spot. I'm ending my turn and drawing an event card. The lurker also now moves. All revealed lurkers receive 1 heart. So if the lurkers are ever damaged and you draw the Plankton Migration, the lurker would actually get an extra heart, but he isn't hurt yet. So right now it is the lurker's turn.
And he will once again, because the only other person that's close to him would be Jules, but Jules has friend to all, so he doesn't get attacked by him.
Mm-hmm.
Now the closest person is still J-Pot, so I'm still going to use that as my advantage.
And J-Pots is right next to Coral, so he actually has to downgrade that weakest defense dice.
So I'm going to continue to use that for my advantage and hopefully use that basically as an extra character, even though I'm not the Ancients and you can't. I
The
can just
Ancients
take
have the
control.
ability to actually control lurkers, but yeah, Sean's trying to use that lurker to his advantage and totally just wreaking havoc on me without actually having an extra character.
1.
Oh, 2 shields.
So you
Thank
defended.
goodness I defended against the lurker. Okay.
Alright, so now it's officially my turn. Let's see here. What do I do? I kind of like where I am, especially having the high ground. I think I'm going to move Jules and make him swim to get back up on the high ground, because he has my farthest attack. I got to roll for that. Okay, I did not succeed that time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try again. I'm going to use my movement action again and try to get up there. And this time I made it. So I'm just going to move just right to there.
And if you can't tell, whenever you have armies
And then I'm gonna land.
that are larger than just these 75-point hero-heavy armies, if you play the low clans or if you even play with the Cogger Nautilus and just have a whole bunch of minions, those movement activations come a lot more difficult to use. Right now, since we only are using like 1 character pretty much to move, he can move technically 3 times if you really wanted to be moved that way. But whenever you have a larger army, those movement actions become a little bit more difficult to decide who to move and how fast you want to move. So
Exactly. Now I have the option to use Warcry. Actually, that's the only thing I can use. Never mind. I will use Warcry again.
that said, you already have the tool belt, so it's 1 less.
Yes, exactly. So it's to my benefit. Usually I can afford that, which is why I couldn't afford Healing Touch. But since Algernon has that tool belt, that's what I'm using. I'm going to boost my characters again. So they're both also on top of rocks.
So we know he has Warcry playing right now, so he uses his Warcry token.
Yep.
And places it next to his Algernon character, so we know that Warcry is in use right now.
Now, since I cannot upgrade black dice, what I do is I gain a white.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm also using Warcry, so I also gain a red.
Certain abilities will say whether they can be used an entire game. Well, if they don't say that they can be used up in 1 turn, then they do last the entire game. So anywhere that Algernon moves now, as long as since he's already played Warcry, then Warcry continues to be used.
Alright, so what I did is I rolled 3 ether and 1 skull.
That's a lot of dice.
Now he has to defend.
Yes. Are you taking him?
I am attacking. I didn't think about that.
You also
Sorry.
do need to claim who you're attacking right at the very beginning of your attack.
Well, I can only shoot so far. So actually, I'm not even
How
sure.
many fathoms can you fire?
Actually, I can't reach with Algernon. So that doesn't even count.
Algernon does not shoot very far.
Oh man.
That would have definitely paid off. I'm going to put up that ether.
Huh?
Did you pull that ether out whenever you rolled this?
Yeah, I did.
Haha.
So he's gonna actually move. I think he's moving at him.
So he has to actually get off this rock to come attack me now, which is going to definitely pay off for me because it won't hurt me as bad.
I can move farther than that. That's as far as I want to go because I just want to take out Reginald.
Reginald's cry again stays with him, so any friendly character within 2 fathoms of him still gets that war
And I'm just
cry
going to
ability.
move him the rest of the way to the corner so I can stay within that ability.
Yeah, so right now he's still using this war cry for Jules, so he will be able to still use Jules in a great way, getting that upgraded attack die from being up on the rocks, and then also getting an extra red for the war cry. So he's still getting 4 dice just with Jules.
And I'm also doing my best with Algernon to stay away from the lurker because that's not what I want to deal with right now. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to actually attack with Algernon. So there's my attack. And now this time I roll 1 ether. Man. 1 ether and 2 skulls.
Okay, and it was Reginald, you said?
Yes, Reginald.
Okay, he's still within 1 fathom of that coral, so actually Reginald might not be. Can I see the room really quick? He might be a little further out. Yes! So within the base of that coral, I am free. So Reginald actually doesn't get downgraded, so that's actually really helpful. And I rolled an ether and a shield, so I do get 1 hit on Reginald.
And he only has 2 left. Alright. So I'm going to attack with Jules. Now I get a black and a red. But I get...
Since you're on a rock, you get a white die for being on a rock.
I get a white.
So it gives you an extra white to, an extra dice to chunk at me.
Which is always what she wanted as an extra dice. And then I get my extra red for Warcry.
Because he's within 2 fathoms of the Warcry ability on Algernon.
And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to use Flash on Reginald, which will degrade his weakest defense dice.
Okay.
So
against Reginald. Okay.
Yes, and I can shoot. If you want me to allow me to measure real fast, make sure I can shoot Reginald and use that on him.
From Jules?
Yes.
How many is he? 4?
Yes, 4 fathoms.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, so I do use that on him, and now I'm attacking him. Bless you. Bless you. So I get that's
man.
exploding.
Oh man.
So
Alright, he's got 3.
So 3 skulls and 1 ether, so I get my ether back. And degrade your dice from the
No, he's not.
Flash.
Oh, with it. Oh, Flash. Darn it. Alright. Oops. So sorry, Algernon. I get 1 shield.
So he takes that final 2 damage, or no, does he stop?
Yeah, I have 1 more damage left actually because you're non-attacking J-Pots. Reginald has 6 hearts, so he has 1 more, so he's actually okay right now.
Alright. It is now your turn.
Yay! So draw an event card.
I will draw an event card.
I will draw it for you. So, Brine Fog. This is not good for me. So, Brine Fog, what it does is all models, the range now lowers to 1. So, it stinks because all these events keep happening to me and not you. So, I only am able to shoot within 1 because I can only see right now within 1. So, I have nothing to see unless I want to start actually moving around now. And that's definitely going to have to happen in order to do some attacks.
I'm down to my range characters too, so...
So you're down to your range. Well, I mean, but it's not going to affect you because it's until the next event card is drawn, which is mine.
Oh, yeah.
Turn.
That's all right.
So I'm going to move, get some guys moving here. Let's see here. This stinking lurker is just going to annoy the crap out of me. So because I don't want to get a disengage from this lurker, I do need to stay within 1 fathom of it. So I am going to try to get J-Pox a little bit closer to Algernon without getting him too far away from that troll shark. So I can now see Algernon with J-Pots. I'm going to attempt. I know that one turn is all I need to use my domino effect again with Reginald. So in order to use that domino effect, I'm going to have to make sure to get lined up here, and he can move a little bit further. So
But luckily, it's not your movement that's withheld to a fathom. It is your range.
Yes. So right now, all I'm trying to do is get within one fathom of Algernon with all my characters, so that I can actually shoot him. Because right now I can't see him because of all this brine fog that's happening. So I'm kind of just barely moving my guys up.
Now, of course, this isn't good for me because I'm a bit surrounded, but J-Pots is now still surrounded.
Okay.
So if I can take out Reginald, then I'll be in good shape.
Yep. So what I'm going to attempt to do here is get some crap done.
Get crap done.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. I think I'm going to still do some hardcore stuff with Reginald here. I'm actually going to pay for Down the Scope, which is a little bit like Warcry, but it only allows me to upgrade, or not upgrade, but get an extra red die for Reginald. So he's going to do Down the Scope as he is attacking Algernon here. And, oh, yeah, baby. Exploding. Oh, explode again. Just keep doing it. Oh, baby. Okay, so I just rolled 5 skulls against Algernon. Algernon only has a black and a red defense die, so right now I'm looking pretty good with getting some major damage to this main character. If he doesn't roll at least if he doesn't roll at least both shields, then that character's gonna die.
So I'm going to give myself a better chance. I'm going to use my Ether to use Prophetic Vision, which upgrades some of my dice. So I'm going to upgrade that so I have more of a chance of rolling a shield. Which I rolled 2 shields.
Ugh.
Boom.
So he still took 3 damage,
3 damage.
to Algernon. So I'm gonna definitely have to still worry about Algernon for at least another character.
Another Warcry.
So
Not yet, actually.
no, definitely. I'm definitely gonna keep going and attacking with the rest of my characters because I made sure they're all within 1 of him. So I'm gonna take Joffrey now and use that shotgun of his to try to put an end to this leader of the Nautilus. And of course, I rolled an Ether and a shield, so that did not help me at all.
But I still roll my defense.
He still rolled he always rolls his defense no matter what because he can technically pull Ether out of this.
Which actually, Prophetic Vision lasts my entire defensive turn, correct?
Did you use Prophetic Vision on that last defense?
Yes.
Okay, then yes.
So
He rolled his shields, which
really what I was
right
aiming
now,
for
but
was Ether. That's what I was aiming for.
Definitely. And lastly, I'm going to go take a turn with J-Pots. I do not have enough Ether to use my double attack, which might actually come in handy right now since I apparently cannot take this last heart down from him. But I'm going to do a basic attack with him. And I got an Ether and a skull. So hopefully out of the 2 black dice he has, he doesn't roll any shields, and of course he rolls a shield and an Ether. Which stinks for me. But it keeps him alive one more turn. And that is all my attacks. So I will now draw a new event card. Oh man, this is not good for me. Algae Bloom. So what the Algae Bloom does is it makes all the lurkers attack right then. So the lurker, the only person within, the closest person within the lurker is J-Pots.
has not technically become the lurker's turn
Yeah,
yet. So
right now it's not
basically,
lurker's turn.
he's going to get 2 attacks in a row.
Yep, so pretty much right now the lurkers get 2 attacks against good old J-Pots. J-Pot's defense is not the greatest.
So I
2 shields.
2 shields. Yay for you.
I survived one.
So roll your defense.
And nothing.
Nothing, okay. 2 exploding skulls, so 2 more red dice. 3 skulls and an
And he
Ether.
rolled an Ether. So he gets an Ether on that character, and what would you say, 3 skulls?
3 skulls.
2. So I only take 1 hit to J-Pot, so he's
Good job, Troll Shark.
survived. I know the Troll Shark is not doing too well on his hits.
No, but at least he did some damage. That's all
I
I
was
can
gonna say,
ask
J-Pot has been, probably gonna get defeated just from being next to that Troll Shark.
for.
Okay, so now it is Sean's turn to take, and he has 2 characters left.
So I cannot use Warcry. I do not have enough ether.
Warcry lasts the whole game, so he doesn't have to pay 40.
Oh, yeah. It does.
So he continues to use Warcry until the end of the game.
Okay, so let's see here. What do I want to do? Man, I am so close. That is not good. But I can't. I still want to tag. I don't want to break my side. Nautilus aren't cowards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use Algernon to attack. Now, he has a great ability with his free abilities called Mulligan. So if I want to re-roll an attack die, one attack die that turn, I can. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, Nautilus aren't cowards. Algernon's going to go out swinging.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and attack Reginald. And he has Warcry, so I get 2 black and 1 red while attacking Reginald. And I got 2 exploding. So I get 2 new red dice. And there's 2 skulls to you, and I got anything.
Against who, Reginald?
Reginald, yes.
Oh, Reginald. You are going to probably die. And 1's shield. I am a gunner.
He's done. He's gone. He's
now named Don instead of Reginald.
He is done.
So, Reginald, you were good while you lasted, buddy. You did some major damage. That's why I like Reginald, because he's just a nice little sniper.
Now, with Jules, I'm going to go ahead and use Flash to blind J-Pots, because I like to focus on one character.
So luckily for J-Pots, he has a thing called Intimidate, so he can't be targeted by specials.
At least once. So that was...
I just used Intimidate, so I've blocked one of the specials. So now if he uses another special from another character, he could use it against me.
But I already attacked. So let's see here. So I have 1 black, 1 red, an extra red for Warcry at J-Pots. 2. 2 to you.
Okay. I'm not within 1 fathom of that coral anymore, thank goodness. I roll 1 shield, so I take 1 damage. J-Pots is hurting pretty bad already. Okay.
Alright. That is my turn. I will draw an event card. And I drew Maelstrom. All models on rocks receive 1 damage. Okay, now something goes against me. I take a damage because Jules is on top of the rocks. There we go.
The Maelstrom. Okay.
The Maelstrom got me.
Okay. That actually is very good for me. I'm trying to think of how I want to kill you off now. Algernon is hurting pretty bad. I need to take him out as fast as possible. I don't have to worry about Brian Fogg anymore, so luckily if I wanted to I could back away. But I don't really want to. Well, actually, how far of a distance can you shoot with Jules?
4 fathoms.
So 12 inches in all. Ooh. And he can shoot 3, which is 9. So if I wanted to, I could back away and get Joffrey out of range if I really wanted to. And I'm going to do that. So for my movement, I am going to take Joffrey and move him a speed of 2. So now I am just out of range of Jules. Coward? I am a coward sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep J-Pots where he is because I don't want him to get a free disengage from any of these characters. Or not any of these characters from the lurker. Okay, so J-Pots will attack first. And thank goodness I'm going to use a double attack. So double attack, if I don't use both attacks, so if I, for instance, do one attack, it kills off Algernon, I can still use that double attack in the second attack Jules. So, I'm going to attack Algernon right now. Actually, no, I'm going to attack Jules. And he gets exploding. Gosh. 3 skulls against Jules.
Okay, 1, so I take 2.
Boom, boom. Oh, you need another? Oh, because you're hurting so bad?
Yeah, be quiet.
Okay, so that was one, and then I do another one against Jules. And another exploding skull. I'm doing some wrecking of shops. And ether.
So I take 3 damage. Jules is done.
Oh,
That's not good.
see Jules. So he was coming in pretty powerful.
I did get an ether.
He was putting some pressure on me, but the cog, I think, are going to overwhelm. Because now I take Joffrey, and with a range of 3 fathoms, which I am definitely within, he's going to use his basic attack.
There's no you can't.
There's no way he's going to come back from this.
So I'm done.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Chase is the winner. Algernon, dead. So Algernon is dead. So, welcome to Masters of the Deep. This is how you play. Of course, there's definitely some variations that will happen in the game. If you have more minion characters, if you have bigger, large characters that are in the deep. Of course, if you have so many, different factions. So if we play a 4-player game, it's going to definitely affect the gameplay a little bit. The bigger, the more factions you play with, you can upgrade the table to a 4x4 if you'd like to. But it definitely affects the gameplay depending on how many characters, how many models are on the board. We played with 6 basic models, so you can kind of see just an easier idea of just kind of how the game works, how the game plays out. And that's how you play the game, so keep supporting the Kickstarter and keep pushing for Masters of the Deep.